Right, so we're now going to do the first part of constructing your little sort of rolled pencil case or makeup holder, whatever you want to use it for. So you've done your printed repeat design. We've now going to give you some gingham, and we're going to put the two together with the fastening, with this elastic in here. So the first stage is to place the elastic, get the two pieces of fabric laid together and then sewn round and then turned through. So that's what we're going to do now. So you will need to have one of these templates. It's got all the markings on, so where we're going to fold the sort of little pencil case roll design up, where we're going to place the elastic, where we've got the gap and the measurements. So this is what you need to work to. So we're going to get the piece of gingham, we're going to pick up your paper template, and we're going to lay that on top of the gingham. We're just going to move it up a little bit, a couple of centimetres like that, so we can see where the elastic's going to go. So you're going to have your piece of elastic, it's going to be 22 centimetres long. We're going to fold that in half like that. We are then going to turn this round, so the fold is going to sit on top of your paper template, on top of your fabric. We're going to line it up where it says elastic, that red line there. We're going to place that down. It's in line with your piece of gingham. You're going to get your pin and you're going to pin into the table. So I'm going to pin into the table, so it goes down to the table, going through both layers of elastic and the fabric, and then bring that up. So your pin has gone through into the bottom of the gingham, so you can see that there, just through there, and then it's also come back up again, so it's holding in that elastic nice and securely. So we can now take our paper template away, because we've got our elastic in place. Our elastic has to sit like this. I don't want it sitting downwards. You might think, why have I put it this way? There is a reason, because we're going to turn this through, so that needs to flip out, and it will make sense when you actually come to turn through your two layers of fabric. So it must lay like this on top of the gingham. So you're now going to get your printed piece that you've done. You may or may not have done some hand embroidery into it, but we're now going to put this on top of your gingham, and this needs to go print side down, so right side facing, so it's your print side down. So we're going to pick this up and we're just going to flip that on top there. So we're just going to bring that down so it's nicely laid up. Make sure it's all lined up, just flatten that down like that. So it's now hiding, so you can see the elastic is hidden in the two layers. Our print is facing the gingham, so we're now working on the wrong side. So we're just going to pin this just to hold it in place. So you're going to get a pin and you're going to pin it there like that. Going to get another pin, just move the pins over. I'm just going to put 3 or 4 pins. Make sure you go down into the gingham, hitting the table and bringing it back up again, so there's pinned like that. You can put another 3 pins down here. So it's just going to hold the two together, because we're going to mark out where you're going to sew. And these pins, if we pin them about a good 3-4 inches away from the edges, we can leave these pins in when we sew. So that's nicely pinned. We're now going to come back and pick up our template again, and you can see that we have got a 10 centimetre turning through gap. So we're not going to sew this bit. So we are going to place this on here. We're just going to move that across again like we did with the elastic, and you are going to mark these 2 lines here. So we're not going to sew in this gap here. We're going to sew all the way around the other edges, but not this piece here. So we're going to mark where you're not going to sew. So you're going to get a pencil, and we're just going to draw a line to be quite firm like that. I'm going to draw again here. Okay, so that's where we're not going to sew. So we can now take our template away, where this is all nicely pinned, and we are now going to mark all of the sides round, giving us a seam allowance, and we're going to sew on our red line. So we're going to use a pencil, a nice red pencil, because it's not going to show through, it will wash out, but it's enough that we can see it. So we're going to leave a 1 centimetre seam allowance. So we're going to line the ruler up onto the edge there. You're going to see where the 1 centimetre is, and you are going to do a little mark like that. Okay, so you can see your mark. You're going to move your ruler again. Then we're going to do another mark just there. Okay, so now what we can do is join those 2 lines up. We're going to start where we're going to sew, and we're just going to draw. We're going to rule a line like that. Okay, so we've got 1 centimetre from the edge. This is where we are going to stitch, and we're going to now carry that all the way around. So I'll do this long edge. I'm just going to turn that round. So we're going to line this up. We're going to do little dash 1 centimetre. I'm going to follow it on the printed side, even though this gingham side, if it doesn't quite line up, go to the edge of that one there, the print one, so we've got the same seam allowance. We're just going to do little dashes. Just do one more at the top there. Okay, and now you can just join up your dashes. Oops, can't pick my ruler up. Join it up. Nope. It's quite tricky to mark, so you can now see you've got a sewing line there. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing the rest, and once I've drawn these, I'll show you how we're going to sew. Okay, so I've now drawn all of my seam allowance. I've got my little red line going all the way around, so I've got 3 full lines. And then I've got a broken line here, so we're not going to sew this bit. But before I go and sew, I'm just going to put a few more pins in. I'm going to pin slightly closer now, so I'm going to go in the gaps, and I'm going to pin down just there. So I'm still not pinning on the red line. I'm just going to pin just in between the 3 pins that I had already pinned in. So a little bit closer, just so that it's going to make it a bit easier for you to sew. Same down here, just going to pin there. Another one there, I might just turn that round, it's easier for you to see. I've lost where I've got to there. And then another one just there. I'm going to put one on the end here as well, just to hold that in place. So we're not pinning on the line, we're pinning just short of it. And I think I'm going to put one in there just to hold that there in place. Okay, so we are now ready to sew. When we sew, we are going to start here where our turn through, where our gap is. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to sew to this corner here, and then we're going to turn around and sew. So we're going to sew all in one continuous line, but we're going to make sure we do really nice corners. So I'm now going to go to the sewing machine, so I'll see you there.